This entire video is all about stress mitigation. If you've been struggling with high stress and you haven't been able to lose fat, or you just haven't been able to see any progress with your fitness journey, this video is for you. This video is not for you though if you're just gonna listen to all the information and then not really change anything about your lifestyle. This video gives you a lot of valuable information on how to manage stress, how to mitigate it, and how to make it more so of a lifestyle for you to see more progress in your fitness journey. This video is a group call from my community within my container. We do these group calls bi-weekly in the container just so that people can get some valuable information and actually learn something, because I am here to teach you how to actually lose fat, build muscle, and keep it off for the rest of your life. So enjoy watching.
If anyone has any questions at any time, we use the chat. We are sluts for the chat. I am a slut for the chat. We want to make sure that all questions are answered, because this is a little bit of like energetics and also a little bit of science around stress and making sure that we're all pretty dialed in. So let's go in slideshow mode. Cool. Call it Take a Chill Pill. Scientific and holistic stress mitigation. Cool. So very simple. What is stress? This one doesn't have the animations for the slides or the sentences, so don't read ahead. Cool. Feeling overwhelmed or unable to cope. That's cope. See, we're already fucking up. Cool. So feeling overwhelmed or unable to cope with mental or external pressure. Untreated stress can create toxic buildup and create sickness and disease. The types of stress that we're going to talk about are acute, episodic acute, and chronic. So my boy Jim Carrey here, favorite actor in the world. So acute stress. So acute stress is basically intense and unpleasant reaction shortly after an overwhelming traumatic experience lasting less than a month, aka crashing out, for any sort of traumatic experience that you're experiencing. But usually this experience is more exaggerated. So if it's longer than a month, get a diagnosis for potential PTSD is a good idea. Who is Jim Carrey? You don't know who Jim Carrey is, Andrew? Bro, go watch. I'm gonna recommend like 20 movies to you, bro. Oh my god. Oh god damn it. Don't do this to me. You already knew it. Okay. So anyway, an example. Yes, I'm crashing out because you didn't know who Jim Carrey was. So an example of acute stress, a car crash, right? PTSD is they might also avoid driving or become excessively cautious on the road, right? So that might be your PTSD reaction to a car crash, right? Because you're basically traumatized. You're like, I don't want to drive anymore, or you're just going to drive like your grandma. Another example is deadline at work or upcoming exam presentation, right? PTSD response might be develop symptoms such as intense anxiety, intrusive thoughts about failing, and avoidance of studying or preparing for future exams or presentations. Getting stuck in traffic. PTSD could be manifesting as irritability, impatience, physical symptoms like muscle tension or headaches when encountering traffic or driving in a congested area, right? Road rage, it's the worst. Unexpected news. PTSD reaction can be triggering symptoms like a shock, denial, difficulty processing the news. It could also lead to ongoing anxiety or depression related to the event. Or you can have an argument with a partner. PTSD could be persistent negative thoughts about the relationship, emotional numbness towards their partner, and avoidance of discussing or resolving conflicts in the relationship, right? This is anxious avoidant type of people that want to avoid any sort of traumatic experiences that they've experienced in the past, and so on. So that's acute. Episodic acute. So Brittany in 2007 is the best. So someone gets frequent bouts of acute stress frequently. It's episodic acute. Makes sense, right? Like it happens frequently. These types of people often take on more responsibilities than they can handle. They overcommit or they overwhelm themselves and they run into a fuck ton of deadlines and they can't handle it. And they might seem like stressed in the head, but their body is showing stress. So, they may seem like they're in a rush, always running late or disorganized. So an example is an overloaded student, right? This was kind of me. A student who signs up for multiple extracurricular activities, volunteers, takes on heavy course loads, resulting in frequent bouts of an acute stress. Hi, Marissa. Good timing. This is for you. This is the perfect call for you. This is the best. We're talking about stress. So, and another example of episodic acute is they may always seem rushed, forgetting deadlines, appearing disorganized in their studies and their personal life. Another example is a busy parent, right? A parent who struggles to juggle work, household responsibilities, and children activities, leading to frequent episodes of acute stress, right? They're taking on a lot of responsibilities as a parent, trying to do everything, and it can be just overwhelming. They may always be in a hurry, forgetting appointments, and feeling overwhelmed by their daily responsibilities, right? So that's why they, lash out on the kids, or they just do shit unconsciously that are either traumatic to the kids, and then they continue passing on the stress, correct? The chronic procrastinator, someone who constantly puts off tasks until the last minute, used to be me as well, leading to frequent episodes of acute stress. They may always seem rushed, trying to complete tasks at the 11th hour and feeling overwhelmed by procrastination habits. So I used to be very much so this person because, I was an engineering student. So a lot of my studies came to the very last minute, punching everything into the last hour, and then forgetting everything after that, after, doing the test. So anyway, perpetual overachiever, an individual who sets unrealistic goals and expectations for themselves, constantly striving for perfection. Perfectionism doesn't exist. We have a call for that if you guys want to watch it. Constantly striving for perfection in all aspects of their life, resulting in frequent bouts of acute stress. They may always seem in a rush, trying to accomplish too much in too little time, and feeling constantly overwhelmed by their self-imposed standards. Any of these sound familiar? Raise of hands. Just raise your hands or just say me in the chat. Oh, there we go. Marissa, Jeff, solid. We know. Jay, raising their hands. Yes, yes. I'm sure if you have never felt any of this, you're a fucking liar. Ali, Izzy, nice. Who else? I'm waiting for the rest of the chat, honestly, because everyone has no fucking way. Those that didn't raise their hands, I guess we'll talk later. Anyway, so let's continue. Chronic stress. This is there we go, Sky. Nice. Chronic stress. So the silent killer. Consistent stress of overwhelm and pressure over a long period of time. This is why it's a silent killer, because your body basically adapts, right? And I'll basically relate it before I talk about the whole slide. I'll basically relate it to what we're doing with food and training, right? Like your body will adapt to more calories over time and less calories over time, making you lose weight or gain weight. Training, your body will adapt to doing more activity, getting stronger, and so on. That's how muscles grow. Your body also adapts to stress. So if you're chronically highly stressed all the fucking time, at some point that's going to be your baseline. And that will no longer feel like stress. But relative to someone else who actually regulates themselves, that's probably you're super fucking stressed out chronically. So this is why getting your blood work done and seeing where your cortisol is at, pretty important. But also you can tell from progress photos and your weigh-ins and your food choices and emotional eating and so on. So anyway, we'll get into that. So an example is financial stress. Someone experiencing ongoing financial difficulties, such as debt, job loss, instability leading to chronic stress. They may feel constantly worried about money, unable to make ends meet, and stressed about financial future. Workplace stress is a high-pressure job with demanding deadlines, long hours, and a difficult boss, leading to chronic stress. I know a lot of you like that. They may be feeling constantly overwhelmed by their work overload, anxious about meeting deadlines, and trapped in a stressful work environment, or just dealing with stressful fucking coworkers and bosses and so on. Overtraining, like I was just saying. Someone new to exercising might do too much too quickly, which can make them feel tired and sore all the time, and they might not see the results they want, right? Your body will adapt over time, but if you do too much too soon, your body's going to say, go fuck yourself. And, that's why people crash out in the very beginning. The new year, new mean people are good examples of that. Dieting and restriction. Rudy, Rudy, there you go. There you go. Dieting and restriction. Sometimes people try to eat less food to lose weight, but this can make them feel hungry and worried about their eating all the time, stress, And they may feel constantly deprived, anxious about food choices, and stressed about maintaining their diet in social situations. Binging. So, and a lack of patience and persistence. When you start exercising, you might want to see big changes in your body quickly. But it's important to be patient and keep trying even though you don't see changes right away. So, any of these sound familiar? Raise your hands. Solid. Jeff, Rudy. Or you just say me in the chat. Everyone. It's a fireworks in the chat. Beautiful. So, a couple chronic stressors. And if you're not a chronic stressor, I mean, it's not everyone, right? Most people regulate, but if you don't regulate consistently, then, it's kind of hard to not be chronically stressed. And that's why we're going to talk about that later. So don't read ahead, but I was supposed to do animations and I didn't. Stress basically deteriorates. I blame my job. But it's also your responsibility to regulate your nervous system and your stress, brother. And we'll talk about that. So stress basically deteriorates the body. You have low energy, headaches, upset stomach, loose bowels, constipation and nausea, chest pain. That's the worst one. That's how you're like when you ask yourself, is this how I go out? And you just have fucking heart attacks and shit. Rapid heart rate without caffeine. That's the worst. Tense muscles. That's kind of me. Insomnia. I know a lot of people like that. Low immune system, and you're constantly sick. Even like this is why when I give people more food and I let their body start to adapt to the more calories, and then we immediately put them into a deficit, over the course of time, they get sick. So that tells me your immune system is still kind of fucked from stress that you're handling at work or in your life in general. So that's why basically regulating is fucking important in any part of a fitness journey, when you're in a cut or you're in a bulk, whatever. And the worst one, low sex drive. Basically, you're getting fucked in all aspects of life, right? Fisted, no lube, no nothing. So, but yeah, let's continue. How it shows up in the body. You can have rapid weight gain around the chest, face, and abdominal area. I was looking at one of my videos when I got fired from my engineering job, and when I was in my engineering job, I had so much like face puffiness and inflammation in my face. And I was like, holy shit, I look like a whole different person back then. So if you look at pictures from back then, I promise you, you will look drastically different once you start shifting your life into regulating more, focusing on like meditation and just being better on, the daily shit, the fundamental shit, like your sleep, stress, food, water, all that stuff, just the basic shit. But anyway, how else it shows up in the body is high blood pressure. That one's scary. Flushed around face, anxiety, depression, irritability, muscle weakness, not recovering during training, body aches, extremely low or high appetite. Basically, you're getting fucked times 2. So let's do it again. Raise your hands. Who has felt any of these? Or you can just comment which ones you've felt in the chat. I'll read them again really quickly. High blood pressure, round face, anxiety, depression, irritability, muscle weakness, not recovering, body aches, extremely low and high appetite. Like one of those fucking those weight loss ads that they speak really fast at the end, and then like, you may experience mesothelioma if you may be entitled to competition, and you may be experiencing blah, 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 blah. So that's what this is, but stress. But for me, when I'm highly stressed, I'm irritable and I don't recover. That's for sure. And my body is like achy. I have low appetite, but yeah, I don't really eat. I'm the opposite when I'm stressed. I don't eat at all. Irritability, appetite, round face. Makes sense. I see that, Jeff. Yeah. Cool. We can continue. Cortisol. Okay, so if we don't know what cortisol, I'll talk about it here, but cortisol is basically the hormone that manages stress in your body. You need cortisol, you need it balanced, and I'll talk about why. It's not a bad hormone. Everyone has cortisol. It's just the levels need to be dialed, okay? Cortisol, we need cortisol, but not too much. Cortisol is the queen bee hormone and must be respected. The responsibilities of cortisol with managing stress. Cortisol helps the body handle stress by controlling how it responds to different situations. Regulating your metabolism. It helps regulate how the body uses the food for energy, especially during times of stress. Controlling blood sugar levels, basically. Cortisol plays a role in keeping blood sugar levels stable, which is why it's important for overall health to keep your cortisol regulated, because you can spike the fuck out of your blood sugar if you're highly stressed, and then you crash out. Reducing inflammation, right? I talk about inflammation a lot. I can see it in the body, I can see it in the face. It helps the body reduce inflammation, which is the body's response to injury or infection. When you basically get a little cut on your hand, or like let's say you get a blood blister of some sort, right? Your body's first response is to inflame the area, put as much water and blood into the area. Same thing with stress. It's going to drive a lot of blood into that area, and it's going to put a lot of water into the area to prevent further injury, because your body thinks you're dying. And we'll talk about that later. Another role for cortisol is supporting memory formation. Cortisol helps the brain form and store memories. A lot of people don't know that. Fun fact, which is important for learning and remembering things. So if you're highly stressed, you're going to forget. You're going to basically be all old as fuck all the time. And I'm already trouble forgetting all the time. So that tells a lot about my stress levels. But anyway, regulating sleep. It can affect sleep patterns, helping you feel awake in the morning and sleepy at night. We'll talk about cortisol levels and like cortisol cycles later on, but your cortisol is naturally highest in the morning. I'll show you the picture later. And then for the ladies, supporting fetal development. In pregnant women, cortisol helps the fetus develop properly. If you're highly stressed and you're pregnant, it's not good for the baby. So, that's why making sure that you're basically just chilling. Obviously, you can do healthy movement to help regulate cortisol and so on. So, yeah. So cortisol. I want to talk about this point, regulating metabolism. Okay. It helps regulate how the body uses food for energy, especially during times of stress, right? This is why it's important. If you're highly stressed, extreme low or high levels of appetite, right? You either eat out of emotion and stress, or you eat because you're too stressed and you don't eat enough. How cortisol affects your metabolism. High cortisol makes you crave unhealthy, high-calorie foods, causing you to eat more than you need, right? Cortisol also infects insulin, which is basically a hormone that controls blood sugar, right? Every time you eat a carb or every time you eat food in general, spikes your insulin, right? High cortisol levels can make your body less responsive to insulin, making it basically leading to higher blood sugar levels and more fat storage, right? So high stress, higher insulin, and then whenever you eat, your insulin spikes, your energy crashes, and basically you're not doing anything when your energy crashes, right? You're less energy, therefore energy goes down. What does your body do? It says, let's just store the food that you ate. Let's use it towards fat. And that's why people I don't know why I'm crashing out or I'm not losing weight, because you're highly stressed and you're probably not using enough energy that you actually need. Usually, ideally, when I give you more food, you want to use that food for activity, right? Get out, touch some grass, go get on a walk, get stronger in the gym, so on, right? If you don't use the food, if it doesn't have a purpose, then you're not regulating cortisol, and then you get into this cycle. So anyway, another role, how cortisol affects metabolism, is storing fat, right? Cortisol can tell your body to store fat, especially around your organs and in the belly area. It does this by increasing the activity of the enzyme that helps store fat in the cells. And it also causes you to break down muscle, right? In times of stress, cortisol can break down muscle tissue for energy. This can lead to less muscle and a slower metabolism, making it easier to gain fat. So, what did we learn here? Manage your stress. And basically, I'm pretty sure Ash has told you guys this, and I will kind of reiterate. The reason your body stores fat is because your metabolism is millions and millions and millions and millions of years old. Same thing with your central nervous system, like we talked about on her last call, right? Her last call last month. Millions of years old. So therefore, when you're highly stressed, your body thinks that you're fucking dying. It thinks that you're running away from a bear. or running away from a tiger, like in the fucking Middle Ages. And it's basically going to drive down your appetite, going to put you into survival mode. And your body doesn't need muscle to survive. So it's going to protect your organs by adding the fat layer around it and water to protect it from injury. So that's it. When appetite is up, but activity decreases, less NEAT. And NEAT just basically stands for non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So me talking with my hands, me walking to go to the bathroom, me walking in general, NEAT, right? Anything that is not exercise. So when your appetite is up and you have less activity, this causes a tendency to eat calories without equal expenditure, meaning unexplainable fat gain. Like I was saying earlier, you crash out, low energy, you don't want to do anything, so on. So this is how the cycle kind of works. Someone says, I want to go intuitive eating for a few months, and then appetite is higher than it needs to be, stress eating. So let's say if you usually burn 2,000 calories per day, but cortisol is high, that means appetite is high or low, it can be either, and you're eating 3,000 calories and eating intuitively, you're in 1,000 calorie surplus. Does that make sense? Let me know in the chat if it doesn't. Say no if it doesn't. So what I'm trying to say is, like, when you're highly stressed, you're more likely eating more than you think. Because if you're intuitively eating and you're not tracking calories, right, and you burn only 2,000 calories, you're in 1,000 calorie surplus, meaning you're gaining weight. So then they want to diet and lose the weight after, and it doesn't work because for them they added more stress, and on top of stress eating, which is a vicious cycle. So how do we break it? I'm glad you asked. So fuck the cycle. Couple things. We're going to talk about awareness and mindfulness. This is a big one. Recognize your patterns of stress eating and how it affects your body, whether you're an emotional eater or you don't eat at all, or the food choices that you make. Quality matters, right? And another thing is we want to practice mindfulness to become more aware of your emotions and how they affect your eating habits, right? We're here to be more conscious, more aware of patterns, so that way you can break the cycles that you're in, because otherwise they're just going to continue. So next thing we want to do is have healthy coping mechanisms, right? I ask your coping mechanism for your stress in the check-ins every week. Recognize them. Instead of turning to food for comfort, find healthier ways to cope with stress. Exercise, meditation, talking to a friend, journaling, listening to loud music, dancing, the fucking sun, touch some grass, walking, socializing with boundaries, not partying hard to numb the stress, right? We don't want to drink and fucking, numb the stress. Enjoying your craving with portion control. This is probably the biggest one. Is right. I have ice cream almost like every other day or so. Portion control, portion control. You can't portion control without tracking the food or weighing it and still fitting it into your macros. So take a screenshot if you guys need, so that way you guys can remember this. Obviously, balanced diet. Focus on eating a balanced diet with plenty of fruits, veggies, lean proteins, and whole grains. That one's obvious. And this can help regulate your appetite and prevent overeating. And the reason I say have a lot of lean proteins is because protein is the most satiating macronutrient compared to carbs and fats, right? You will feel fuller, and it will help regulate your appetite over the long period. Regular physical activity, pretty obvious as well. Staying active will boost your mood and energy levels. Aim for at least 30 minutes of moderate exercise most days of the week. Stress management techniques is practice stress reducing techniques like yoga, deep breathing, my favorite, mindfulness meditation to lower stress cortisol levels and reduce stress eating. So, or journaling, right? Anything from this list, basically all the coping mechanisms and stress management techniques are the same thing. And the last one is important: community. I was just talking to a client that was isolating himself because he felt embarrassed because he was highly stressed, and he didn't think that people would feel accepting, or people would like embarrass him. So chances are someone else has gone through what you're going through and is able to resonate and give you tips. I saw it in the chat today. Someone was stressing out. I think it was Sandy. I don't know if she's here. She's probably working because she's a vet. So she was stressing out in the chat, because she's a vet going through it. And I think Ali commented saying, because Ali is also in the medical field and they're resonating with each other, which is great, right? Everyone can probably resonate with what you're going through. There's very similar lifestyles and circumstances in the chat. High stress can make you feel this only happens to me, right? When you're highly stressed, you isolate and people think this is the only thing that happens to me. So they isolate. There's a lot of shame and guilt, and then you don't seek for help. It's a cycle. I see it every time. So when you see community and friends that can resonate with you and guide you through it, it helps you move through the stress. And this is why y'all have me and Ash. And the community obviously built friendships. That's why everyone's here. But we're not therapists. So apply the shit that we talk about. We don't want to be like, I remember saying this on the very first call that I usually jump on with everyone. We're mindset coaches, not therapists, different. Therapists will listen to you and validate you and maybe give you some change. We're here to actually give you techniques and shifts and break your cycles so that way you don't have to deal with this shit again. So yeah, not very many therapists work on inner child shit or like meditation techniques or deep breathing or anything like that. So anyway, take a screenshot, do whatever y'all need. Someone asked, Jay asked, protein helps fight stress. I missed that a bit. Oh yeah, okay, so protein, yes, it doesn't necessarily directly fight stress. Protein helps satiate you, makes you feel fuller and crave less. So if you are stressed out, for example, and you eat a meal that has more protein in it rather than eating chips and just purely carbs, because if you eat purely carbs, you're going to spike your insulin and you're going to crave more carbs. So when you have more protein in the meal, it's going to help satiate your appetite, regulating your hormones, and you're going to be like, okay, I'm good. Right? And if you're still hungry after that, then sure, have your thing. But that's it. Indirectly helps you fight stress. Adrenals, your adrenal glands, important, right? Your adrenal glands are taxed. Adrenal glands help produce cortisol. And they also help produce what? Adrenaline. Adrenals, adrenaline, cool. So if adrenals are overstimulated, you'll have adrenal fatigue, right? Adrenal fatigue is very fucking real. I think Ash went through it, right? She stopped producing cortisol. And that's very, it can happen, right? You can stop producing cortisol because you're overly stressed and hormones are fucked. So what can happen if you have adrenal fatigue is you can have body aches, unexplained weight loss or gain, low blood pressure, lightheadedness, loss of body hair, skin discoloration, digestive issues, mood swings, and cravings or the lack of cravings. If this is any of you, take a screenshot or you can raise your hand because it's important, right? This is why I suggest a lot of people get blood work, right? If I start seeing like, if nutrition and mindset and training and the holistic stuff that I do in supplements and all the stuff that I teach doesn't work, we'll start getting deeper into blood work, making sure that everything is regulated. So Rudy asked, overeating on protein, does it store as fat because I can't put it down, coach? Yeah, no, you're good. Protein doesn't necessarily get stored as fat. So how can I explain this? It's from a metabolic perspective. So your metabolism needs calories to break down food, right? You eat calories, your body needs calories to break down calories, right? It's a cycle, correct? Calories are just energy. Protein itself needs the most calories from your body to break it down, right? I think it's like 16 calories for every gram of protein that you eat that your body needs to break it down. So therefore, if your body requires more calories to break down protein, the more protein you eat, the more calories your body is requiring of it. And where does it get it from? Your fat, right? Fat is just stored calories. That's all it is, stored energy. So I can go into this later, but it's more like sciencey. So to answer your question, protein does not get stored as fat. And if it does, there's probably like a fucking 2% chance that it does. I've eaten like 300 grams of protein at one point from like steaks and, carne asadas and all that stuff. It won't get stored as fat. You have to go really, really, really hard on protein. So yeah. But good proteins, not like, chicharrón and carne, or not carne, chicharrón and pork and all that stuff. So anyway, yeah. Okay, so how do we fix this? I talked a lot about all the shit that can happen to your body. How do we fix it? Cool. Circadian rhythm. Getting motherfucking morning sunlight and touching some grass and going for morning walks often. I've said it like 20 times. Most of you are deficient in vitamin D3, right? I've been deficient in vitamin D3. I only touched grass about an hour ago. So, outside of my morning gym. So I'm bad too. I get it. So, but 5 days out of the week, I'm pretty good. I still go on my morning walk and I do my thing. So, but setting your circadian rhythm for the most part is important. And we'll talk about what that is. Another thing you can do to fix your high stress is pull stimulants. Caffeine right after waking up is a big no-no. All right, a lot of people do it. Caffeine right after waking is a big no. You want to wait 60 to 90 minutes, ideally. My sweet spot is like 60 minutes. I go on my walk, I hang out, drink my coffee at the gym, or drink my pre-workout at the gym. About an hour in, an hour and 50, or an hour and 30. So, Allie, yeah, definitely we want to work on that. So, and if you do have caffeine in the morning, make it very, 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 very fucking light. So anyway, cortisol, and like I said earlier, I want to talk to you about like the cortisol cycle. Cortisol is naturally high after waking up, right? That's why, like in the morning when I wake up, I feel my heart beating, like it's pumping. I'm like, holy shit, cortisol's high, right? You're just naturally awake. So use that to your advantage. And the reason I say that is because caffeine increases cortisol if you have excess caffeine, right? So if you let your natural cortisol just run out, basically, like ride your natural cortisol cycle in the morning, you can basically let natural cortisol and adenosine balance out after waking, ideally 90 minutes. So I like to get into the gym and I'm like warming up and doing all my thing. And then I'll take my pre-workout. I'm like, okay, I'm good. Like my natural cortisol, I feel myself getting a little tired. That's when I take caffeine. So you got to get to know your body a little bit, right? And then reduce training to 3 to 4 days. If you're overtraining, like I said, you want to reduce training. Training is a controlled stressor on the body. You are literally ripping your muscles apart on the micro scale, right? So it's a stress. That's how your body responds. Like it basically repairs muscle the way it repairs a cut on your body, putting a bunch of blood and white cells to the area, creating a scar tissue, building more muscle. So reduce training because too much training can fuck you up. Quality food sources. Stop eating bullshit, basically. Stop eating processed sugars. I'm not going to tell you these. I'm not going into these because I tell you over and over again. If you haven't incorporated fruits, veggies, whole grains, and whole sources of carbs into your diet, grow up. We do focus on flexible dieting. Everyone has flexible dieting in here. We want to practice 80-20, right? The 80-20 rule is 80% of your food, whole food, veggies, whole grains, fruits, whole source carbs, proteins. The 20%, you can have fun with your diet. Go have the pizza, go have the ice cream, try the burger, go have the carne asada, go hang out with family, live life, but track it, right? You want to make sure you bring awareness to the food because the food cycles is important. So, and then the last one, this one's more of a little concoction that I like to do for supplements if you want to take a screenshot. Vitamin C plus bioflavonoids. The mix is a 2-to-1 ratio. So you can take 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C and 500 mils of bioflavonoid. And if you increase every hour on the hour, then you're basically going to have 1,500 for both total. So you can go as high as 19K on vitamin C, but that's going to be rough on digestion. Do not recommend. I would start anywhere between like 10K, basically 8K and 10K if you need to. Start there, and then for vitamin C at least. And then the goal is to have a stool runny, let it run for 3 to 4 weeks to get hormones back balanced, and then get a hormone panel if you're super high in vitamin C. Otherwise, start off at 1 to 2K with vitamin C. There's an Amazon link if you want here. Does this even go to Amazon? It does, huh? Nice. I linked it and you guys can't even see it. So, but the supplement, oh, cool. It's actually in the link tree. So vitamin C, vitamin D3 are here. The supplements, there's a fuck ton of supplements in here. You know where the link tree is at. If you don't, send me a DM. So I guess it's showing my tabs now. So anyway, don't look at my tabs. Let's go into, cool, we're there. So let's see. So another thing that we can do to fix high stress is the anti-inflammatory diet, which is lowering dairy and gluten, right? If you're highly inflamed and you're not pooping and you're highly stressed and you're holding on to water, most people, whether you like this, believe it or not, most people are very intolerant to dairy and gluten. Most people, right? At some level, there's a spectrum. I'm not saying it's a yes, binary yes or no. There's a spectrum. I can handle a piece of bread. I can't handle cake. You know what I mean? I can handle some Greek yogurt. I can't drink milk. So more fruits, more veggies, more nuts and seeds, healthy fats, beef, etc. Right? Avoid processed sugars, like we said. And you can also supplement with this. These are my favorite compared to the vitamin C. I take ashwagandha every day, and then 450 milligrams of Bacopa extract, 500 of lion's mane, and 500 of rhodiola. If you don't like taking all of this, you can just take ashwagandha and rhodiola, the last two, 500 of rhodiola and probably 500 milligrams of ashwagandha. That's my favorite. Take it every morning. I have it in powder form. I just put it in my oatmeal. Doesn't taste like anything. Great. But you can take the other stuff. Lion's mane is more so for cognition and focus. And then Bacopa extract is also for inflammation and a little bit of focus as well. So take a screenshot if you want. Find it on the Amazons. And if your cortisol is still high after taking all that shit, you're fucked. And I'm just kidding. So basically, training needs to be pulled all the way back, right? Like 1 to 2 days. I've pulled people back all the way 1 to 2 days. I have 2 clients on 2 days training because he's just highly stressed from a lot of other things in life. Anyway, and then stimulants need to be pulled all the way back. Basically, no caffeine to 50 milligrams of caffeine max a day. And then this one's, woo-woo, but it's not. It's proven, but you can believe it or not. Binaural beats. Binaural beats in your meditations. I've listened to breath work that has binaural beats in the background. I send it to you if you guys want. I'll post it in the chat later. I just got to remind myself. But like anything that's 4 to 5 hertz is linked to better REM sleep. So, stress affects sleep. You want to get better sleep. There you go. It also helps you reduce anxiety, relaxation, and so on. 8 to 13 hertz is more for positivity and decrease anxiety. You can listen to both if you want. And last thing, the energetic stuff is humans are nothing but energy and frequency, right? We are just balls of fucking energy and frequency. So stress mitigation works best when you are bringing your spiritual and holistic approaches to the table, bringing both. Don't just throw supplements at the wall and expect to be fixed. You still have to regulate your nervous system and do the basic supplements. And I will tell everyone this, it's fucking true for anything, not just stress. Supplements are the cherry on top. If you do not have a foundation down with sleep, water, whole food, exercise, all the things that we listed earlier, getting some motherfucking sunlight, supplements will do nothing for you. So, and then, breath work, meditation, mindfulness, awareness, etc. Anything that helps you become more spiritual, aware, and that's it. Just understanding where you are in the cycle so that way you can break the cycle. Otherwise, you're just going to continue living in the same 6 months of your life. Don't want to do that, right? So take a screenshot of that if you want. Lifestyle changes. Sleep. Sleep is very important. Like I said, less sleep, high cortisol. It's very simple. 7 to 9 hours, no excuses. And I heard this somewhere, it was probably like I think it was a mentor, I don't know, or a video. If you can't get sleep right, you're kind of fucked, because sleep is one of the most basic things that you can do in your fitness journey to get right. So if you're not getting sleep and you're saying, I'm going to get 7 hours of sleep, and you get 5 or 6, you're breaking, basically not creating trust with yourself. You're like, oh, you're a liar. Every time you say that we're going to get 7, we get 5. So that's what you're saying. So you basically create a lot of distrust with yourself, and that pours into everywhere else. Oh, I'm going to work out today. Oh, just kidding. I'm not going to work out. Oh, I'm going to drink water today. Oh, I'm not going to drink water. So on. So another lifestyle change that you can make, and this one's big for me. Remove yourself from toxic and stressful environments. Toxic relationships, toxic friendships, people, coworkers, etc. There's a lot of people in here in this chat with those types of situations. I did that myself. Engineering was toxic for me. So was California. I fucked up all of that. Now I'm here. So if here develops to be toxic, then great. But we'll get there when we get there. My point is making sure that you are aware, because you always have a choice. Make sure that you choose to be in a better environment for your own success, because at the end of the day, no one's going to regulate for you and eat better for you and work out for you and sleep for you. Not even your coworkers. So anyway, social media, the doom scroll. I get it. My job is social media. I know. So limit your time. I talked to another client about this because she was struggling with social media at night. I put a time limit, and Instagram, I got it right before this call too, a 2-hour time limit on Instagram. And basically it crashes out the app. Like, oh, you hit your time limit for the day, and I can't use it anymore. So 2 hours is my limit. If you don't know how to do that, Google is your friend. Get some more sunlight, the 20th time, and movement outside. People underestimate the power of actually getting sun though. Like getting 10,000 steps with no phone and getting direct sunlight, people underestimate the power of that. Like truly, if I need to fuck off the screens, I will literally go outside, no phone, no nothing, not touch anything, just go outside with paño and enjoy some sunlight. And if there's no sun outside, there's still sun. It's just being blocked by clouds. Remember that. Nose breathing over mouth breathing. Important. I think there's a couple people in this chat that use mouth tape. I use mouth tape, but it's not mouth tape, it's painter's tape. Don't judge me. It works. It's great. I like it. I don't like the shitty mouth tape that they sell at the store that has a little slit. Like I can still breathe through my mouth. I use painter's tape. Use whatever tape you want. Get some mouth tape. Works great. You won't die. I promise. I've been doing it for like a year already, 2 years. So more diaphragm breath work, 15 to 20 minutes per day, right? Regular breath work, and then putting some mouth tape while you sleep. You're going to regulate your nervous system. And painter's tape is probably cheaper. Noise. Yes, exactly. Mouth tape is new. Yes. Painter's tape is definitely cheaper. I still have the roll. It's probably lasted me the whole year, dude. And write down what drains and fills your energy. I did this exercise with Ash about a year ago. It's the best. Take a piece of paper, a line down the center. What makes me feel drained? What makes me feel great and like high energy and alignment? And on each side, you're going to write 5 to 10 things that make you feel aligned and 5 to 10 things that pull you out of alignment. This one's the best. If you like that, do that. That works really well. I'm like, oh shit, I'm doing like 10 of these things and none of these things. Wow, what a coincidence. So take a screenshot of this. This one's great. These are the lifestyle things, not nutritional things. But I mean, obviously lifestyle changes, like nutrition is part of lifestyle too, but you know what I mean. So we're going to do a quick supplement overview. Take a screenshot of this. My favorites are ashwagandha and, like I said, rhodiola. And fish oil is really good to help you with gut inflammation, right? Healthy oils will help you with gut inflammation. And then pre and probiotics, I usually get those from food, not from supplements, honestly. You know, like you can Google pre and probiotic foods, but Greek yogurts and fermented foods like kimchi, I have kimchi and Greek yogurt. That's it. Super simple. I just bought some kimchi from the Korean store. It's the best. And the others are kind of like optional. And dark chocolate is a flavonoid, which buffers stress activity and adrenals. Dark chocolate, not Snickers. So, yeah. Take a supplement. Take a screenshot if you want. Are we almost done? We're almost done. Okay. So the holistic overview is the heavy hitters, right? We talked about the holistics, the being, okay? So the being, the things that you're being, like you as a being, meditation, breath work with binaural beats, journaling, doing activity that brings you focus and awareness of the present. For me, that's drawing and working and walking outside without a phone. Oh, I literally said that. For me, drawing, walking my dog, listening to audiobook while walking, listening to music, lifting heavy, right? Lifting heavy with great music, there's nothing better than that. The doing, the things that you fucking do. Some sun, damn it. Reset your circadian rhythm. And I did this for like a whole year. It helps. I promise if you're consistent with it for a whole year, you get outside when the sun rises, because the circadian rhythm means like your body rises with the sun and goes to sleep with the sun. That's what circadian rhythm means on a TLDR, just summary. So when you wake up and you go outside and you get direct sunlight, not through windshield or through your car, it doesn't count because reflection and there's science behind this. Get direct sunlight. Don't look don't go blind. I think it's a beeline. It's called beeline, where you like look kind of at an angle and the sunlight comes into your eyes. Helps you reset your circadian rhythm. The more that you do that, the more that your body is going to respond. Try it for like 3 weeks, 2 weeks, whatever. Stay consistent with it. I promise you'll see a difference. Go outside. The doing, walking 10K, 8 to 10K steps, removing yourself from stressful environments and people, and getting some motherfucking sleep. 7 to 9 hours. And then fitness related, less training and doing more of controlling the weight, right? If you're overtraining, control the weight, less sets, quality over quantity. And then RPE 5 to 6 for 2 to 4 weeks, right? RPE, a lot of you, we do train it at RPE, the rate of perceived exertion in your programs. I like to make all my programs based on RPE, just an intensity model. If you don't know what it is, ask me, I will explain it again. But basically RPE is you're training with leaving 5 to 6 reps left in the tank on every set. So you're like leaving a lot in the tank. So you're not training to failure at all. And then nutrition, whole food, less caffeine, portion control. That's it. And then obviously awareness around your self-sabotaging habits. If you have stress and overeat or stress and undereat, either way. And then that's it. Nice. I thought I had like something else. I don't. I thought I had a spiritual overview, but I guess you can do that in the being. So that's more so the being. Solid. We are good on time. Look at that. Beautiful. Nice. Thank you, Jay. I appreciate it, bro. Does anyone have any questions? Come off mute if you have any questions, because it could probably help everyone instead of dropping it in the chat.
Okay, so about the whole caffeine, like waiting 90 minutes before you wake up, like, my situation and how early I wake up. I don't feel that like rush of like my heart beating and like, oh, I know my cortisol is up. Like, I just have to remind myself, like, yeah, cortisol's probably up, but like, I'm dead at 3 a.m. So, like, when I go to the gym, I've tried it without caffeine because I'm like, I should wait an hour at least. But like when I'm there, I'm dead. Like it's hard to get through a workout without like some kind of pre-workout, some kind of like something. Like what should I do?
So first, everyone responds to cortisol differently. Like I said, I feel my heart. Not everyone. You're not gonna. That's not a sign that you just have high cortisol in the morning.
Uh-huh.
So just everyone has a high cortisol in the morning, no matter what. Whether it's all relative to wherever their baseline is at. And secondly, I would start cutting back slowly from your dose right now. So you do a full scoop, maybe a pre.
Like right now, it's literally like those like little ghost energy drinks or whatever, or like the C4 ones. They have like 200 milligrams, and then I'll have like 1 cup of coffee in the afternoon, like
So
around 12.
here's what I want you to do. In the morning, you're gonna take your C4 can or whatever ghost can. You're gonna pour half of it into a shaker,
Mhm.
and then fill the rest with water and ice. You're gonna
Okay.
dilute the fuck out of it. This is really, really diluted coffee and cold brew. I have probably like that much coffee, and everything else is water.
Mhm.
And even the coffee that I put in there is super diluted too. This
Okay.
helps my brain think, oh, you're getting a lot of coffee in. So it's more of a placebo effect, but you're also actually bringing down your intake. So
Okay.
save half. You'll probably save a lot of fucking money because those drinks are expensive.
They're not cheap.
Yeah. So save half and work with that for like a week or two, and then
Okay.
drop it again. Cut it in half. So just the rule of halves. So until you can start like you're good with just half at the gym, and then you start to see your body regulate a little bit better. That's
Mhm.
gonna help a lot.
Okay.
Same thing with coffee too. Like your coffee at work, if you have it in those little fucking cups, put it into a bigger cup, fucking a shit ton of water.
Okay. All right. Okay.
It's the worst. I know. I hate dropping caffeine too. So good question though. Does anyone else have any questions about anything? I can just kind of like go through the supplements or the lifestyle changes.
I did have a question in
Yes.
regards to the supplement for ashwagandha. Like, what are the benefits for it?
Ashwagandha is just it just helps with stress. That's all it is. So it helps regulate your mood. So I can't say like the actual mechanical or biology behind it. I'm not that knowledgeable, but I know it's truly just for mood and stability and stress. Same thing with rhodiola. There's a certain word for it. I can't remember. It's not nootropic because nootropic is for like cognition and focus. That's more so like lion's mane and stuff like that. But ashwagandha is for that. People, and there's a what's the word? Not stereotype. Myth. I don't know. People mix up ashwagandha with like steroids or some shit, or like something that in the fitness industry where like it helps you build more muscle. So that's not true. It's just for stress. It might indirectly help you build more muscle because your stress is lower and your body's not eating away at your muscle. Therefore, you're like in a better place to build better muscle. But it's not going to be like, holy shit, drastic difference. That's it. Does that help, Sky?
Yes, I used to, well, I started taking it back when I was like in college because
Mm-hmm.
I had like really bad stress.
Good.
But then they told me that to stop taking it because it caused my cortisol levels to go up. So
What the
that's why I was like,
fuck?
yeah, I don't know.
Who said that?
So I was like, okay. Well, I guess I won't take it anymore.
Who said that?
I had gone in to get some lab work done, and they told me that for my provider's office, but I don't know. That's why I was confused. I was like, I don't know. Let's just say I stopped going to that doctor's office because,
Yeah.
yeah, they were
Very, very wrong. Very wrong. That's
yeah.
incorrect as fuck. You'll probably hear them too, like if they get blood work and you're taking creatine, they're gonna be like, stop taking creatine because your liver enzymes are super high. That's wrong too. So I've seen you're gonna be fine on creatine. You're gonna be fine on any of that stuff. So as long as you're moderating ashwagandha, you're not overdoing it, you'll be fine. I've done like a gram a day, and that's on days where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have a long ass day. So, but 500 milligrams is pretty solid to hang out.
Okay. What about like with creatine? What's like a recommendable amount of creatine to take?
5 grams a day.
5. Okay.
Yeah, 5 grams a day. You don't need to do the fucking the what's the phase called? The overloading phase, basically, where you basically load it for 10 grams for like a week. Don't do that. Just 5 grams every day, or as often as you can. You'll be fine.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Good question. Anyone else?
I'm just thinking about that painter's tape. That honestly is smart. But no, I'm a person who snores when I sleep, so that's why I haven't tried anything like that.
Yeah, dude.
I don't know if I should or not. I just
Good.
hope I can get up.
You don't have a mustache, so it's easier for you for sure.
I mean, I do. It's not as thick as yours is, but yeah, I do. With the, I think it might be somewhat near sleep apnea.
Yeah.
I don't know how bad it is. I just know people have recorded me while I was snoring in my sleep. So, and I know it's bad. It's loud.
Yeah.
So might be that. And then my question was about dark chocolate. So is it supposed to be like the more bitter one to take? Because that's like higher, like 70 plus.
70 plus.
Okay.
80 plus, all the stuff that tastes like tree bark. It's the best.
Right. I mean, I like dark chocolate, so the bitter I can get over, but I'm not a big coffee drink. I don't get how people drink coffee just straight black. I don't
do that either. Yeah, no.
I don't understand that one. Because then I was thinking when you're saying like how you were saying you dilute yours, I was like, how do you I mean, it loses all the taste. But I mean, I get it.
I mean, you'll figure out your ratio of water. Like I had to pour more coffee into mine because I was like, this is literally just water and milk. This just is
right.
So, I try and do it so not overdo my consumption of coffee. It's just mainly for like overconsumption, if anything.
Okay.
If you only drink like 1 cup a day or 2 cups a day, you're fine. Normal consumption for coffee is around like 200 to 300 a day. 300 is like you're kissing red line, right? Like you're revving your adrenals. Your adrenals are down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always avoided coffee because it just doesn't agree with my stomach half the time. I know it's a diuretic anyway, but I just try to avoid it altogether.
Yeah.
And then my next thing was about vitamin C. I was always told like don't take more than like 1,000 daily or something.
Right. This is a very temporary protocol. It's like a hard reset. Yeah, you do it for 3 to 4 weeks. I'll go to it real quick. You do it for 3 to 4 weeks, and you let your hormones regulate. You get a panel, and then you make sure that like I would do a before and after panel. That's why. Where is it? Son of a bitch. There it is. At the very end. So yeah, goal is to have your stool is going to be running. You're going to have the doo-doos for a little bit, and you're going to run it for 3 to 4 weeks and get your hormones back balanced, and then get your hormone panel after. Yeah, but if you're like choosing to be on the high end, you definitely want to do the hormone panel.
Okay.
If you want to be safe without the hormone panel, you can start off on the low end, like anywhere between 1 and 2K. You can go as high as 5.
Okay. Because I've never heard of bioflavonoids. Never heard of that.
Yeah, bioflavonoids.
So what does that do exactly? And is it good to have them both together?
Yes. I don't know the exact mechanism. I got this supplement protocol from another coach. I've used it. That's it. That's all. I've used it. It helps. I use it after my prep because that's when my body was highly stressed and I'm like, I need to get my shit back together. And it helped reset everything because I was high cortisol, low libido, highly stressed, holding on to water, all the things. So yeah,
Rudy, I've definitely thought about doing those sleep studies.
Sleep study, so your doc can prescribe you a CPAP machine.
A
CPAP machine helps too, yeah. But I mean, if you can do it holistically, you can. What I do is, I mean, my dad fucking shakes the house when he snores, and I knew that it's genetic. So sleep apnea is definitely genetic. So what I do is I double pillow, and my head make sure it's like lifted, almost like your chin is gonna be tucked when you're sleeping. And mouth tape, because if your head is back, your throat is open, your mouth is gonna pop open, causing sleep apnea. So you're not breathing. So
I just flip around when I sleep anyway, so that's an interesting one.
you gotta sleep on your back.
Yeah, it's harder to fall asleep on my back. I'll usually start on my stomach, move to my side.
It's a learned thing. I slept the same way when I was in college, so it's a learned thing. You gotta kind of get used to it.
Okay.
Take some time. But like I said, meditation at night, some binaural beats, put them in while you're sleeping. You'll knock the fuck out.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that like is that like whale sounds and whatnot?
No, what the fuck? No. Look up binaural beats on YouTube.
Okay.
Do you speak whale? No. Yeah, no, it's not whale sounds. It's, how do I explain it? It's just binaural beats are more so like meditative frequencies. There's, those meditation frequencies that are like 111 hertz and 500 hertz and so on. Like the higher the hertz, the more you get into high energies, basically. Binaural beats just basically calm down your nervous system, like super low, helping you just, they're more like woo, 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 woo.
Oh, okay. It's like white noise and whatnot.
Kinda. You got to look it up, brother. That's it.
Yeah. I popped it.
Yeah, white noise vibration. Sure. Yeah, that, sure. It's hard to describe it, honestly. There's different types.
Right.
There's different types. So, yeah. But like I said, do everything else foundation matters the most. Like everything that we talk about here, foundation matters the most because supplements and all that stuff don't matter if you're not regulating your nervous system. My favorite way, breath work every day. You can. I'll die on that hill. Breath work every morning. Y'all can do whatever you want in the morning. Meditate, touch some grass, journal, go voice memo, talk to yourself in the mirror, whatever you want.
2 scoops of pre-workout?
And some pre-workout. Yes, throw back some pre-workout at 8 p.m., 450 milligrams, full send. But yeah, does that help everyone? Was this a good call? Did you guys like the stress medication?
Yes, it was good. I know when I'm stressed, my eye starts twitching.
Solid. They don't have any questions. Oh, Stefan, what's up?
I'm good. Just curious.
Oh, okay.
Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
Oh, you got it, boss.
Just curious. You ever experienced any side effects with ashwagandha? Because I feel like after a while, I feel like emotionally numb. If that sounds weird.
Yeah, that's kind of the point.
Oh, okay.
That's kind of the point. You're like you're representing those memes on TikTok and Instagram where they're like the boyfriend and girlfriend are talking and there's like no fucking emotion for the boyfriend. I don't know. But anyway, yes, that's kind of the point. But that means just pull back a little bit, take a little less. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. That's normal.
Okay, I just wanted to know if it was normal because after I feel like that, I just like stopped taking it for a while.
Yeah, everyone experiences it differently.
Okay.
Yeah. Good question though.
You said that stress destroys, you say it tears down muscle and that it makes you, I can't remember what you said. I was doing a lot. You said it like makes you store fat and not carbs or something. I couldn't really remember that part. I was doing a lot.
High stress. Give me 1 second, guys. I realized I had a call right after this to text them. But yeah, high cortisol is going to not help you, but obviously what it does is just makes your body want to hold on to more fat. So therefore, your body doesn't need muscle to survive, right? Like muscle, it's seen as an expendable thing. So, and the reason why this may or may not be true, but this is, I guess, physiologically how it makes sense in my head. Since muscle is more dense in energy, right, compared to fat, because fat you can lose and gain really fast, right? So therefore it burns really fast calorically. Muscle takes a little bit longer to break down, kind of like protein, right? Like, the actual protein, like I talked about, protein food takes a long time to break down in your system. So your body's going to see that as like, oh, I'm going to use this to kind of survive a little longer. So that way we can bring down appetite and go into survival mode. And we can chew on this for like a couple months without having to touch fat. Does that make sense? So it's going through the path of least resistance or basically like, no, not the path of least resistance. Basically just choosing the source of energy that's going to help it last longer in survival mode. Yeah.
And also, you said that sleep, the way that I heard it, sleep is either glue or it's dynamite to your whole journey.
Dairy or gluten?
Sleep is like glue or dynamite for your journey, for like your goals and progress.
Yes.
It's glue or dynamite. Yeah, okay.
Glue or dynamite. Yes, correct. It'll help you. Yeah, it'll blow up your fucking journey, or yes, it'll keep it together. Yes. Sleep is one of those foundational things that you should not neglect at all.
Okay, so, and because with less sleep, what does it make you do again?
Less sleep just dries up cortisol. So if you get less sleep, you're not going to get REM. And like I said, sleep after you wake up, sleep naturally spikes, right? So if your cortisol naturally spikes after you wake up, and that spike happens, let's say, before the sun comes up or after the sun comes up, you're kind of out of alignment with the circadian rhythm. Therefore, your circadian rhythm is thrown off completely. So that's it. I forgot the question that you asked. Shit.
No, I was just saying, like, what does it do to the, it slows you down and hinders progress and stuff like that. I think
Yes. But it just helps you recover. Obviously, you're going to build muscle in sleep. You don't build muscle in the gym. You build muscle in your sleep. That's when you recover. So if you're not focusing there, you're kind of fucked. So,
I do got a question because I did come in late and I've been meaning to ask you this, Mike.
Sure.
So I'm like in between, because before I was working out 2 days for 7 days a week and my body wasn't getting that rest. Now my schedule that I made with you, the 3 days of rest, would you consider or would you recommend like an active rest day? So even though I'm not in the gym, would you recommend like going on a walk, riding a bike or something like that?
Yeah, absolutely, dude. Riding bike, going on a walk, touching some grass, getting some mobility in, like just stretching, all that stuff is great. I do that all the time. Going on a hike, anything like that is fine. Yeah, totally good.
Thanks. Thank you.
All right, guys. I gotta let you go because I gotta hop on a call with someone else, and he's not on this call. So, but I'm glad you guys liked it. It was a good call, a lot of good questions. And if you have any more questions, you know where to reach me. So
okay. And where will this video be, just in case I want to rewatch it?
I need to post everything to YouTube, which is a big to-do on my list for this week. So there's a lot of videos I need to post up. I'm gonna start scheduling them. Yeah. Okay. Everything's gonna be on the tubes. I'll let y'all know. Cool, guys. Good shit. All right, y'all. I'll let y'all go. Let me know if you need anything, okay? Have a great day. Bye.
See ya.
See ya.